Hi, I'm Katie McLesson with Monarch Landscape Companies. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about lavender and pruning and planting and how to dry some lavender for your home. A lot of us really love lavender for its scent, and it has a lot of great uses for recreational things like cooking or medicinal purposes for teas, but it can be a little bit more difficult to grow. There's two types I have here in my garden, and I struggled a lot the first time I grew lavender. I grew it in a pot. I learned it does better in the ground, and it's really sensitive to water. So when you are planting it, you want to make sure that it's in an area that doesn't get too much water, has great sunlight, and a nice filtered soil. So you don't want it to be too compact. It's really susceptible to root rot because of the overwatering. I have two varietals here, a Spanish type of lavender and then a French lavender. In California, we don't really need to cut back on our lavender in the spring, but if you are in a colder climate, a lot of times you would need to cut back your lavender about 1/3 of the bloom of the plant. That way you can promote a healthy regrowth. So for instance, on this French lavender, I would take about 1/3 of this off, and right before or right after the first bloom is when you would want to do that first prune. And that again is in colder climates. In California, we really don't have to do that. So you'd want to cut about here, about 1/3 of the way down. You don't want to go all the way down to the wooded stem part. You just want to stay up here on the top third. Now, when you're trying to prune lavender to dry it, you're going to want to get as long as stems as possible, and you want to be really mindful of where you're going to be cutting, because you don't want to cut off new blooms for regrowth. So you'll want to come in and cut off right here, and you'll see that there's two little blooms that are coming out onto the sides, and these are going to have new blooms, so make sure that you don't cut these off but snip right above there. And you want to keep them as long as possible, because when you make your bundles, you want to have them nice and long so you can dry them. And sometimes if you're noticing that there's a couple offshoots, you can go a little bit deeper and let those other sprigs sprout up for yourself. So once you get a nice bundle here, you don't want to get too large of a bundle because it could have mold once you do go to hang it upside down and dry it. So your bundle should be about the thickness of 3/4 of an inch. So this is a bit smaller. You could go bigger for sure. Tie it with a rubber band and hang it with a little rope attached to a wall or a ceiling, and you want to make sure that you're drying it in a cool, semi-cool, semi-warm, dry place, so kind of like a garage or a closet, and make sure that it's also dark too, because that'll help preserve the colors. If you have it out in the sunlight, the colors don't really stay as prominent as it would if you were in a darker environment. And it takes about 2 to 4 weeks for it to dry. And then how you'll know it's dry is you'll simply just shake off the seeds, or you'll even see on the ground below it that the seeds have already dropped out. And you'll collect them, and you can put them in a sachet, or you could put it in a tea, or mix it with some herbs for a recipe for yourself. Or you can just keep them in as a really pretty little decorative piece in your home. But hope you enjoy and smelling good lavender. Thank you.